Yo. Welcome in, man. Today is February the 13th. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show. Only 5 games on the board. Try to make it a quicker show today just so we can get through it. Get to the All-Star break. All the teams playing today, playing on the second leg of a back-to-back. So not going to say I enjoy the schedule too much. But I have made 2 bets, and there's one that I'm looking to make as well. So we'll talk through those. And then that'll probably be it. I may add one because I don't have any player props. Player props have been good to me lately. So let's jump into a quick recap. Yesterday, the Warriors decided to wet the bed against the Dallas Mavericks. -4.5 is what we got. That ended up being a loser. We got CLV, of course. Like we always do get CLV most of the time. And that ended up being a loser. I think it closed at 6.5. I think it closed at 7 when PJ Washington got ruled out. But Warriors decided not to show up. Miles Bridges under his 27.5 points and assists, even though he played the whole first quarter and went straight Jordan mode. I mean, he was just shooting every shot. He stayed under and then cashed on the Indiana Pacers live at halftime, plus the 4.5. So back to a winning night after having a losing night the night before with Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin also went from 9 points 2 nights ago against the Knicks to 30 plus last night against the Wizards. So we picked them on the wrong night, but neither here nor there, man. Like I said, I'll go through a couple comments and we'll jump into it for today. A bunch of comments in the comment section. First time I'm getting on here. Jayhawk says, man, I want to fight your jaXon app over that Grizzlies +11. So a couple things, Jayhawk. First thing is you don't have to tell jaXon. Just because jaXon give out a play don't mean it's going to absolutely hit. If that was the case, I wouldn't do shows. I'll just tell jaXon and probably retire. So that's the first thing I want to make sure I mention. The second thing is jaXon's been profitable. So that's probably why you tailed it. jaXon was on, I think, the Grizzlies +4.5 yesterday. That ended up being a loser. But jaXon also didn't know that Ja Morant was going to get ruled out. So you got to use that information. Take it with a grain of salt, man. I always talk about not telling jaXon. Sometimes I don't tell jaXon. If you tell jaXon, you wouldn't want to fight it though. You actually be really happy with it. So maybe you're just new to sports betting. But take it with a grain of salt. Just because jaXon say it don't mean it's gonna happen, man. Good morning, Algina says, good morning, Chris in community. Grizzlies ain't show up last night. That hurt me. No Ja last night. Yeah, he got ruled out. Kicking myself as well, Billy, for not taking that over yesterday. Highest total in NBA this season. They almost had 300 points last night. What's up, Sean? It's top of the morning, fam. Best of luck. Pistons first quarter full game drop, but not a Pistons first half full game cash. Yeah, cash. I'm glad you cashed out because the Bulls suck. So I'm not betting against them because they'll turn into the greatest team ever. But glad to see the Bulls still just sucking. I love to see the Bulls play like trash. Prolific says he went 2-0 yesterday. Adam says he got smacked up last night. It typically happens on a big slate. You got to pick and choose your spots. Good morning, Fear Elite. What's up, Manny? What's up, Marquise? Heat under 103.5 was a winner. Shout out to that fourth quarter. Yeah, it was a good fourth quarter. Crip Key says he's going to take the Warriors +6.5. It looks legit. What up, Justin? Let's see. Glad you cashed the 4-legger, Wayne. All right, let's jump into it for today. What up, J-Man? Good morning, Nayeli. She says good vibes. Money making Thursdays. What up, Vaughn? So shout out to the teams in a bounce back spot. Jazz first quarter and first half, same as the Bulls. Big love to Brunson as well. Yeah, Brunson got the job done yesterday. Let's see what we have. What up, Jamel? Appreciate you for tapping in too. Let's get into it for today. So, DJ Prop says I'm taking Luka under points, rebounds, and assists until we hear his minute restriction is lifted. Shout out to my guy Munoz. If you watched the Propcast yesterday, Munoz was on Luka under his points, rebounds, and assists. I think it was 37.5, and it was an easy winner. So really good number there by Munoz, and that was a winner. I think it was a best bet winner on the show yesterday. Glad you cashed 1780 guap. Chad says he got Rockets -5, OKC -6, but still sprinkle on current numbers. Let's jump into it for today then. First, we will talk about jaXon as we always do. So jaXon likes, I just asked jaXon, same simple prompt, best NBA spread for today. And Jackson said it would actually take the points with the Kings at plus 8.5. I don't know if I would do that, but this is what Jackson says. So key stats, and it says for today's NBA game, the best spread bet is Kings plus 8, Sacramento Kings plus 8.5 against the Pelicans. Here's why. Key stats and analysis. So you got team spreads, win percentage, sharp win percentage, recent form, and keynotes. Kings recently added Markelle Fultz to bolster their backcourt depth. Pelicans are inconsistent and rely heavily on their stars for scoring. So why Kings plus 8.5 is a strong bet. Recent additions to in depth. I'm not even sure if Markelle Fultz is going to play today, but I did see that Markelle Fultz said Markelle Fultz did sign with the Kings as he adds depth and playmaking to their backcourt. While he isn't a direct replacement for De'Aaron Fox, his ability to drive and create opportunities could help the Kings stay competitive. Pelicans inconsistencies. Hold on, this isn't right. The Kings aren't plus 8.5. I think Jackson must be. Yeah, the Kings are laying 8.5. So we need a new prompt. This is not correct at all. Let's see. All right, let's come back to Jackson. We'll do that because I think Jackson trying to take a plus 8.5, and the Kings actually laying 8.5. So might be putting the system wrong. Like this don't make sense. Kings plus 8.5 won't get you anywhere. Kings are laying 8.5, and I don't know if I'd be laying that big of a number with them. Even though the Pelicans are absolutely trash, and I do think that Zion is probably going to rest on the second leg of a back-to-back. So probably agree with the total coming down. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in just a second. Let's see what we have here for Excuse me. Let's see what we have here for Jackson. All right, so I'm asking about the best. Excuse me. I'm asking about the best spread bet. Now, the new prompt is, what's the best total for today? Jackson says the best total is the under in the Warriors and the Rockets game, under 217 points. It looks like it's come down a lot. So the Warriors are coming off a tough loss against the Mavs last night, where they scored 107 points. Fatigue could play a role in their offensive output tonight, especially with a quick turnaround and travel to Houston. The Rockets, while on a 2-game winning streak, have been involved in lower scoring games recently, with their last 2 games totaling 230 points, but against a Suns team that lacks defensive consistency. The Warriors' fatigue and rotation. So the Warriors head coach Steve Kerr has expressed frustration in the NBA scheduling, noting the team arrived in Houston late last night. This could lead to limited minutes for key players like Steph Curry, which could impact their scoring potential. The Warriors' road struggles, 12-14 record, and their reliance on the three-point shot could mitigate their tired legs. Could be mitigated by their tired legs. Defensive matchup. The Rockets have been solid defensively at home, holding opponents to an average of 108.9 points per game. Their ability to limit Golden State's three-point shooting will be crucial in keeping the total under. Pace of play. Both teams rank middle of the league in pace of play, which suggests a slower game and fewer possessions. This aligns with the under hidden in the similar matchups. Betting total. The total is of 217 is relatively low, reflecting the expectation of a defensive battle. With the Warriors' fatigue and the Rockets' defensive strength, the under is a strong play. So combination of Golden State's fatigue, Houston's defensive capability, and the slower pace of play makes the under a strong bet for tonight's game. So Jackson likes the under 217 in Golden State and Houston. And I don't know if I could quite get there with Jackson on that one either, but it could make a lot of sense if Golden State ends up resting all those players. And we'll talk about that game in just a second. All right, so let's jump into it for today. First game we got up is the Kings and the Pelicans. I don't even know if I changed it. I didn't change the line. This was at 5 yesterday, and then Zion ended up getting ruled in. Now they're getting 8.5, and the total has come down. It's come down 3 points to 235.5. And I think if I had to play anything in this game, that would be it. But I'm not going to stay on this game long because I could care less about this game. Just being honest with you guys, I really don't. Not looking towards the Kings and the Pelicans, if I'm being honest. I will say this is one thing that I'm looking at, and let me just I forgot I didn't pick some of these banners last night. So let me just take a second and fix this one. 217. All right. So Kings and Pelicans. This is what I'll tell you guys about this game. So Zion, first off, we don't know what the injury report is going to be. Both teams on the second leg of a back-to-back. Kings can rest players. Pelicans can rest players. It is the last day before the All-Star break. The Kings don't have anybody listed right now. The Pelicans don't have anybody listed either. But I will say this, Zion has only played in 2 back-to-back games. I was looking into it earlier this morning. Would not be surprised if Zion sits here. If Zion sits, then I think we take Trey Murphy points over. Just because outside of Trey Murphy and CJ McCollum, they don't really have any other scorers. Jose Alvarado, Misi, and whoever else it is they end up putting into the game I don't think they're going to be able to score the basketball. Now, Trey Murphy did not have a good game yesterday, but I think just based off volume alone, he should be in a pretty good spot. I thought Pelicans should have been live last night to cover the spread, but I think with this line moving from 6.5 to 8, who is really betting the Kings, one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA, pushing this line from 6.5 to 8.5? And I think that's exactly why. I think that's the reason why, is because Zion's probably going to sit out in this game, especially with the Kings. Kings probably haven't been laying 8.5 points on the road all season. So that's my thought process on this one. Is this number is moving because Zion's not going to play. I think you take Trey Murphy up and over his points, up and over his 3.5 made threes. I think you probably play it right now. Kings are bottom 5 3-point defense. I know he didn't go up and over yesterday, but that's how I'm seeing this one. Not laying this many points with the Kings on the road. Even if Zion doesn't play, I'm still not laying this many points. So that's my thought process on this game. Let's see if we have thoughts on this one. Appreciate you for becoming a member, Lance. Says, good morning, Chris. Just subscribed. Looking forward to winning with you in the community. Love to hear that. Let's see. Yeah, Chad says 1-800-GAMBLE. Yeah, I'm not staying on this game. I just want to see if anybody had thoughts. Natalie says she likes Zach LaVine over his 22.5 points. Trey Murphy over his 23.5 points in the Kings money line. I think I don't really think anything about Zach LaVine, but I do think that Trey Murphy over his points is the best line. Off pure volume alone, he should get there. I like Trey Murphy a little bit more than anything else. Let's see what else we got in the chat. Teams who win and cover 3 straight system. Whole slate is back with. I'm right there with you. I'm be here for about 10 minutes, bro. So real quick, yesterday we saw the same thing, right? This was Bulls and Pistons. So the road favorite playing against the same team that they just beat. They won as a road favorite in their last games. Only happened 4 times in the Give Me the Dog database. They're 4-0 straight up, 3-1 against the spread. That would say Kings again. Also 3-1 to the under. This total did drop a little bit. So I guess I lean towards the under, but I think if I'm playing, like I said, it's probably Trey Murphy over his points if I'm playing anything, but he could be ready to get to the All-Star break as well. What up to my guy Finesse? It's top of the top. What's up, Charles? Let's go to the next game. So we got the Thunder and the Timberwolves, which shouldn't be the next game. I actually got these out of order. Yeah, this shouldn't be the next game. Next game should be Golden State and Houston, which I did make a play on that game. The Heat versus the Mavs. +1. Let me get myself together, man. Let's see. 221. Warriors versus Rockets. So the Rockets are laying 6.5 points, total sitting at 217. This should be the next game. All right, so I did bet this game, but the line that I got is gone now. Dang, I didn't realize I put all these back to back, like messed these up. So next game should be this game, right? Warriors and the Rockets. This line opened with the Rockets laying 1 last night. And now it's up to 6.5, and that's primarily all because of the injury report, right? So Eason is out for Houston. Steven Adams has already been ruled out. Fred VanVleet's going to be out through the All-Star break. Golden State hasn't ruled anybody out yet, but there was a tweet that came out yesterday from Anthony Slater that helped me make my decision on how I wanted to play the game. And I did take Houston last night. I took them actually on the money line. Woke up this morning and saw -6.5. And that's because Steve Kerr said, and it's not even official yet. It's not even official, but he did say that the players may not play in today's game because they were going to get to Houston at 3:45 this morning or whatever the case might be. So I am kind of expecting Golden State to rest some players here. I know that this Houston Rockets team is not at full strength either, but I do think when I look at the travel situation for Golden State, I'd much rather put my money on the home team that's playing the second leg of a back-to-back that didn't have to travel at all. So when you look at Golden State, their last 10 games, last 5 games have all been on the road. This is the last of a 6-game road trip. Just watching them struggle against Dallas last night. Not to say that impacted the decision here, but it's 6 games in 9 nights for Golden State, 6 games in 9 nights for Sacramento, Minnesota, OKC, and Utah, all playing 6 games in 9 nights. And for Golden State, all 6 games have actually been, well, 5 of their 6 games have actually been on the road. So I think it's a phase by the Golden State. Would I still play it at 6.5? Probably not. I would wait until the injury report, but I do think Golden State wins the game. I sent out money line -120 last night. Also, like, you just look at the way Golden State's playing, their team that's taken the second most threes last 5 games, and they get a Houston team that's been really good defensively, allowing the fewest threes over the last 5 games. They're top 10 in opponent 3-point accuracy are the Houston Rockets, and Houston's interior defense have actually been pretty bad. They're 24th in opponent rim frequency last 5 games. But we all know Golden State doesn't want to attack the rim. They hate taking twos. We saw it last night, them kicking the ball out for 3 when they had an easy layup. Like, I watched it and it made my stomach hurt. On the full season, Golden State's 5th fewest shots at the rim. Last 5 games, the bottom half of the league as well. I think they're 19th. So I did play Houston in this spot, but that's the only thing that I played. I did look into Dylan Brooks up and over his points because there's no Tari Eason. They're just down a bunch of players. So that's my thought process but I'm not playing Tari Eason. I mean, I'm not playing Dylan Brooks. I just took the money line last night. Let's see what we are thinking about this one. Ski said he can go to sleep yet, about that time to get back to bed. Chad says Rockets in the landslide. I kind of agree with it, man. I thought we got a gift last night with them opening this at 1. Nally likes Dylan Brooks over his 14.5 points. So you can get 13.5 with Dylan Brooks when I was looking at it earlier. Dylan Brooks is in a pretty good spot based on what I was looking at. Golden State's not really good against spot up shooters. I think Dylan Brooks could get to 13.5 just strictly off volume and minutes alone. I think he's going to be a big part of the offense. So I do agree with Nayeli here. Like I said, you can get 13.5. Some Dylan Brooks over his assist love. Amin Thompson under his points. Jalen Green under his 3.5 threes. Jalen Green under everything. What's up, Jose? G421 says he's going to go to State on the money line. So on the opposite side of me, we'll see how that goes. I would not be looking towards Golden State today. Sengun, I'm interested to see if he plays. I'm not sure if Sengun's going to play on the second leg of a back-to-back. Hopefully he does. But over on his rebounds as well. All right, cool. Next game we got is the Thunder, and so this one should not be next either. I got these all out of order. My fault. Next game should be the Heat and the Warriors. So let's go back. All right, so Heat and Warriors. Then we got OKC and Miami. OKC and Minnesota should be next. So Heat and Warriors is open 2 in favor of Miami, down to 1.5 on most books. Total hasn't really moved a lot. 221.5, 221, depending on where you're shopping. This is a game that I honestly don't even want to handicap this game. There's so many injury implications in this game. We know that the Dallas Mavericks just won last night as a 6.5 points, I think a 7-point home dog and now they get a Miami team on the second leg of both teams on second leg of back-to-back. Miami was playing really good basketball up into the fourth quarter. I think they scored 8 points last night against Oklahoma City in the fourth quarter. OKC ended up covering the 13.5 and got a push on the 14 as well after losing the game by double digits for majority of the full game. That's just tell you the strength of OKC and how good they are. We'll talk about them in just a second. So I'm not really sure what to do. I will say this. I did look into the injury report here is something I think we got to take into consideration. We got, let's see. We got Duncan Robinson, illness, ruled out yesterday. We got Kevin Love, who didn't play for personal reasons yesterday. He looks like he's game time decision. Terry Rozier had an injury bug. He also didn't play yesterday. And the Mavs will continue to probably be without all their starters. I'm not sure if PJ Washington's going to play, but I kind of don't think that they're going to bring him back for the last game before the All-Star break. But with that being said, maybe they do. Who knows, right? And that's what makes this game so hard. Miami is 6-3 straight up, 5-4 against the spread when they're playing unrested. The Dallas Mavericks are 6-3 straight up and against the spread when they're playing unrested this season. Granted, much different roster. So the thing that I looked at in this game was, and we'll go over to Outlier really quickly, a guy that I haven't really been paying too much attention to, and that guy is, let's see. That guy is Mr. Christie. Max Christie, I think, is going to continue to have to play a big role for the team. You can see in his last 6 games, he's gone up and over his 14.5 points. It is juiced to the under right now. We'll see how that goes. But Max Christie, I think, is in a pretty good spot, right? So this game against the Knicks and against Philly were games that he against the Knicks was a game that he played on the Lakers. This was his last game on the Lakers. Let me make myself small. So this game wasn't on the Lakers, but since he's joined this Dallas Mavericks team, it's been 5 games. So if we zoom into the last 5 games, you can see that sometimes it's barely, right? 15 points in a couple of these games. But Max Christie is going to play big minutes. I think that's the biggest thing, right? Last 5 games, this Dallas Mavericks team is depleted. You can see he's playing 33.5 minutes down here at the bottom. And this is Outlier. Check it out. 7-day free link in the description of the video. I just think that Max is going to be on the floor a lot outside of Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson. They don't really have a lot of scores. So I see Max Christie having a pretty big game here. I can see him kind of keep it going today. He's young. Cashed in all 4 games since joining the Mavs. Like I said, 27 against the Warriors last night. He's played at least 30 minutes in each of the games that he has come back. So I think he should probably pick up the slack for the Dallas Mavericks in this game. So if I'm looking at player props, which I haven't locked it in, but that's the way that I'm looking, it's probably Max Christie. You also got a Miami Heat team that really struggle against spot up shooters. They're 22nd in spot up shooting defense, and he scores about 35% of his points as a spot up guy. So a look towards Max Christie in this game, but not anything that I played officially. Probably not playing the side of the spread in this one. Let's see if we have thoughts on this one at all. I did look into where. So I actually got it right here. I was actually looking into Khalil Ware's rebounds. The number is 8.5. So real quick, let's just go over and look at Ware. I'm glad you mentioned this. I'm glad somebody mentioned this in the chat. I didn't even get through all my notes. So Ware, I was looking at his rebounds and not necessarily his double-double, but double-double might be a good look as well. His rebounds prop is listed at 8.5 for today, and it's minus 120. You can see that he went under in back-to-back games. OKC is a bottom 10 rebounding team, but his minutes was limited in this game. He only played 24, which I guess 24 is not too bad, but pretty sure Spoelstra probably tried to save his legs a little bit for tonight's game. He also had 7 against Boston. Boston is a top 10 rebounding team in the NBA. I think they are. And you can see all the green here, right? This is what I'm expecting. Some of these poor rebounding teams, Philly, not a good rebounding team. Brooklyn, not a good rebounding team. Chicago, terrible rebounding team. And San Antonio also gives it up on the board. So I'm thinking he gets more of a matchup like this, where we see this green. As long as he gets the minutes, I think he should be fine. With 20-plus minutes, he's played 14 games. He's cashed over a half of them. So not a great hit rate at just 7. But when I look at Dallas without any bigs, I mean, he should have a big game today. So Khalil Ware over his 8.5 boards is what I would be looking at in this game. His points scare me a little bit. You can see, he's gone under in 4 straight games. He's listed at 10.5, but the number did go up to 11.5. So he should have the mismatch in this game, man. Dude is 7 foot, can jump out the gym, super athletic. So that's the way that I would be looking in this game as well. Max Christie potentially up and over his points. Khalil Ware up and over his 8.5 boards is what I'm thinking about this game. And I'm not interested in side or total at all. Just sharing thoughts there. Let's see. So yeah, the Ware double could potentially get there. Let's see what else we thinking. Mavs plus 1.5 and money line. Watch out for the injury report. Let's see what else. If Christie is in, give me his threes. Dallas 9-1 to the over on the second leg of a back-to-back. They're also 9-0 to their team total over. So thinking that they can score. Only props for Nayeli. She likes Max Christie over 14.5 points. Nikola Jovic over his 11.5 points and Klay Thompson over his 16.5. No thoughts on the total because I'm not sure who's going to play. Nally says take the Heat in this spot. The Heat I don't know, man. I can't get there with the Heat right now. I think they got to get they needed like a couple practices, in my opinion. If I want the Heat, I'll take them probably after the break. Not looking towards Christie's threes. I don't think he's a great three-point shooter, in my opinion. When he was in LA, he wasn't a great three-point shooter, so I'll stay off his threes. All right, next game up, we got OKC and Minnesota. OKC and Minnesota is up next. And then last but not least is Clippers and Jazz. So real quick on this OKC and Minnesota game. OKC and Minnesota. So OKC is, both of these teams are actually playing 6 games in 9 nights. Minnesota and OKC and Utah also in the next game. So injury report, Chris Dunn, status is unknown. He did leave the game, but he's supposed to be available for tonight. Kawhi, this is the wrong game. I'm tripping. That's the Clippers game. So OKC, Chet missed yesterday's game for rest. So I'm thinking he probably is going to play today, being that this was the bigger game, the conference game. The Miami game was in the conference game last night. Caruso also left yesterday's game with left hip soreness. Probably sit him out on the second leg of a back-to-back right before the All-Star break, but we'll see how that goes. Cason Wallace also didn't play last night. On the Timberwolves side of things, Mike Conley has missed their last 3 games. I'm guessing he won't play with a fractured or a sprained finger, whatever it is that he got going on. Of course, they'll be without Dante DiVincenzo. They would be without Julius Randle as well. And we saw Minnesota actually get smoked last night, man. They lost the game outright to the Milwaukee Bucks. Just couldn't stop turning the basketball over. I forgot how many turnovers they had, but I know it was a lot. Real quick, I do want to go see that real quick. Because that's a part of the handicap here. I took OKC last night minus the 7. I think it was 7, 6.5. One of the numbers I sent out last night. Thinking that the number would move in their direction. So real quick, Minnesota scored 101 points last night against the Milwaukee Bucks of all teams. A Milwaukee Bucks team that doesn't play a lot of defense. Minnesota turned the ball over. How many turnovers did they have? 13 turnovers, and a lot of them came early. I just don't like what I'm seeing on the offensive end from Minnesota. Anthony Edwards has had to play a lot of minutes and score a lot of points. Last night, he just wasn't on. He shot 10 for 33 from the field. Feels like that's their only offense they have right now. He has been going crazy, and it's been enough to kind of keep them in games, but I think it runs out here. 4 for 17 last night, second leg of a back-to-back. He's really just kind of try to put the team on his shoulders. I don't think that Minnesota's going to be able to generate offense. If they couldn't generate offense against the Bucks, I don't think they're going to be able to generate a lot of offense against the Oklahoma City Thunder either. We know that OKC has been back. They've been back to doing what OKC does. You look at them in the month of February. I think they are one of the 2 only undefeated teams. Them and the Denver Nuggets. This team is number 1 number 3 in offensive rating, number 3 in defensive rating, number 1 in efficiency differential. They're plus 21.3. Has been against a pretty easy strength of schedule. I will give them that, 4th easiest strength of schedule, but they're balling, man. And remember, I said yesterday, before we knew, I had already put it in my notes that without Chet Holmgren with Chet Holmgren on the floor and Isaiah Hartenstein, they got a defensive efficiency rating of a 95. This is the best defense in the league when Chet Holmgren is on the floor. So, I'm having trouble seeing how Minnesota is going to be able to score the basketball. I would also look towards a Minnesota team total under in this game. But I did lay the 7 last night, or 6.5. I can't remember which number I got, but it was a 7 or a 6.5 that I got last night. I do think that they are the right side in today's game. I just worry about OKC being able to score the basketball. I worry about Minnesota being able to score the basketball. So small half unit play, but I did lay the 7 last night. Looks like 7.5 is still available. It is being pushed to 8. I think OKC could absolutely smoke the Minnesota Timberwolves, even on their home court, even as a dog. OKC is 4-0 to the under, playing on back-to-backs as well when they're on the road. Each opponent that stayed under their team total, they allow 101 points per game in this spot. So I'm thinking Chet's ruled in, and we see Minnesota continue to struggle to score the basketball. My thought process. Let's see if we have thoughts on this game, and then we'll move on to the next. All right, let's see. What up, Prestigious Prodigy? Chad says Mavs are nothing, but have to see what the lineup confirmation is first. OKC defense took the Heat team total under 105 with all the illness news. Everyone ends up playing. He scored 93 points through 3/4. OKC hold him to 8 in the 4th for the Cavs. You gotta love to see that, man. Chad says OKC rolls. Wolves struggling turning over the ball. I just said that. Now they're tired and playing a very, very disruptive OKC team. OKC by a lot. And I agree with that. Watched the Mavs last night. They looked a little tired in the 4th quarter, as they should have been. They had to fight hard for that win last night. But I don't want Miami either. Good morning, Lightbearer. The bookie says he'll take OKC minus 6.5. Can't even bet Minnesota at home against a sorry team. Natalie likes Nas Reed, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, all over their points. And OKC minus the 6. Wolves money line for D. Williams. Ant be trying to shoot too many 3-pointers. The whole team do, and they aren't a 3-point shooting team. Anthony Edwards dealing with problems at home. Jesus, okay. Women, I did see that too. But I try not to bring that into the cap. I think when Ant on the floor, he on the floor, man. But I did lay the 7 last night with OKC in this spot. I think they smacked the Minnesota Timberwolves around today. Especially with Chet being back on the floor. Like I said, I also lean towards a Minnesota team total under. The best number is 107.5 right now, minus 114 on FanDuel. So those are my thoughts on this game. Next game we have, and last game we have before the All-Star break, is the Clippers and the Jazz. Not one that I'm super interested in. So this is the one. Chris Dunn, status listed as unknown. Kawhi Leonard also ruled out. We know he's not playing the second leg of back-to-back games. On the Utah Jazz side of things, Colin Sexton, I'm guessing, won't play. He didn't play last night. He's missed like the last handful of games. Not expecting him to magically pop back in today. But outside of that, pretty clean injury report right now, of course. Now, could Walker Kessler, John Collins, and Lauri Markkanen be downgraded to out? Yes, we've seen that. Do I want the Clippers on the second leg of a back-to-back with travel and altitude after beating the Memphis Grizzlies last night? Nah, not really. I don't. I feel like this is a classical letdown spot. This kind of gives me Pacers and Warriors, Pacers and Wizards vibes from last night. Pacers, last game for the All-Star break, just wanted to do enough to win the game and end up having to go to overtime to win that game. The Jazz, you never know what you're going to get from the Jazz. They just lost by 40 to the Lakers, and then they just beat the Lakers by almost 40 last night. So no idea what you're going to get from this team. The one thing that I am looking at in this game is something that, so real quick, just some numbers, some statistical data, not my opinion. Clippers just 4-6 ATS on the second leg of back-to-back. The Jazz are 2-6 ATS on the second leg of a back-to-back. Ben Simmons, actually, I forgot to mention this. He's also listed as questionable after missing last night's game. It was reconditioning or something like that. So he could make his debut if he plays. Maybe that's more of a reason to want to fade the Clippers. I'm not a big Ben Simmons guy. The Jazz, of course, can still add players. Colin Sexton didn't play. I mentioned that already. So the one thing that I am looking at in this game, if we go back over the Outlier really quickly, I have not been making this play, but I see a lot of people have been making this play on Mr. Collier. Isaiah Collier has absolutely been hooping. So I looked into it. This is probably my favorite player prop on the board for today, as long as Colin Sexton isn't going to play. But I'm looking at his rebounds and assists. So you can see here that he's up and over the number in 6 of his last 10 games. But more than that, he's up and over in 5 straight games. Isaiah Collier is. He's cashed 5 straight. He played the Clippers and finished with 14. You can see that game is right here. Had 5 rebounds and 9 assists in that game. I think this game was in LA too. So now he gets him at home. I know he was on the second leg of a back-to-back, but he's a young, spry chicken, man. I do think that Isaiah Collier has a very, very big game today. On the full season, he's cashed in 13 of his 21 games, 62%, over the 11.5 rebounds and assists. In the last 5 games, he's averaging 30 minutes. You can see that number is right here. 32 minutes is what he's averaging. With 30-plus minutes this season, he's up and over this number in 12 of his 14 games. So in the 14 games where he's played 30 minutes, he's cashed 85.7% of the time. I like Isaiah Collier today, up and over. The line is moving. This is minus 132 right now. I don't know if that's the best number, but probably my favorite player prop today. One that I have not been taking, but I know a lot of people have been on Collier. I think that he continues to eat, even with a pretty good matchup on the opposite side. It's not like the Clippers defense is bad, but I think he can continue to find success here at 11.5 rebounds and assists today. So this is the player prop that I like a little bit more than anything else on today's slate, at least so far, with the injury information that we have and all these teams being on the second leg of a back-to-back. Probably not caring too much about today's game. Let's get into thoughts here, and then we'll do a quick recap. That's a funny comment by 78 to go out. The Boogie says he'll take the Jazz plus 8.5 and a little bit on the money line. Clippers won and covered all 3 games this season already. So triple revenge spot. Charles says, Carl, you've been feeding family. Shout out to their young man. He's been hooping. Niley says he'll take the Jazz plus 8, sprinkle on the money line. John Collins over his points. So if the Jazz would have lost last night, I probably would like him in this spot. I'm not sure how much the Jazz want to cover back-to-back games. Let's look at the Jazz real quick this season when they've covered the night before or won as a dog. Let's see what the Jazz are. Previous win as a dog. 2-9 straight up, 6-5 against the number though, losing by about 8 points, which is right where this line is. They have covered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of their last 6 games though, when they've won as a dog recently. What about if they're at home? 0-4 straight up, 2-2 against the spread, losing by an average of 7 points, 3-1 to the over if they have won as a dog. Previous win as a dog and rest equals 0. So if they won as a dog and they're unrested in their next game, happened one time. They beat the Magic outright in Orlando, 105-92 back on January the 5th as a 9-point dog. So yeah, Jazz, I feel like as a home dog, hasn't been as profitable this season as it was. They're 10-12 against the number, losing by about 7 points. Clippers haven't been great on the road. I forgot that though. Clippers unrested are 4-6 against the number, 8-2 to the under. So offensively, they don't come to play. They've actually stayed under in 5 straight games of the Clippers when they're unrested. And what if they're a road favorite in the next game? 1-0 straight up, 1-0 against the spread. Beat the the Trailblazers back on January the 16th. So only one time they've actually been a road favorite. 4-0 to the over, 4-0 to the under though if they're favorite unrested. That gives me under vibes, under 225.5 vibes. Favorite with no rest. On the road with no rest, just 2-2 straight up, 2-2 against the number. Yeah, I think it's hard for me to put my money on the Jazz because I see how bad they can be at times. But I guess the Jazz would be a look. I guess the Jazz would be a look. I'll be with the people in the comments here. D Will says Nelly got knowledge. She says I be betting. I be watching. I be betting. Mark says Jazz +9 now has my interest. Yeah, I think so. Mark, I think so. I think Jazz might be the best spot on the board, maybe. As far as anything that I haven't bet yet. Like I said, I already got a couple bets. So yeah, quick show today. Actually, it wasn't even that quick for real. But let's jump into a quick recap really quickly. All right, so I did bet Houston money line last night. That number is long gone now. I also took OKC -7. I like Isaiah Collier in this game, over 11.5 rebounds and assists. And let's see. Let's go to the page so you can see what I'm typing. Okay, so Isaiah Collier over his rebounds and assists. Trey Murphy over his points, especially with, I think Zion's going to get ruled out. So I think we get a pretty good number on Trey Murphy. I think the number is 23.5 points if I'm betting anything in that game. Khalil Ware over 8.5 boards. And Max Christie over 14.5 points. Not sure if any of these will end up making the card. And then last but not least, Utah. Can't be laying this many points with the Jazz on the road. I agree with y'all in the comments here. Let's see, what's the best number we can get? You actually get a +9.5 on FanDuel right now. At the time of this, at the time of me being live, you can get a +9.5 on FanDuel. Utah +9.5 right before the All-Star break. Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. That's what I like, man. +9.5. That's it, yeah. All right, so resources are all here. Check them out if you are interested. jaXon is still on a heater, even though it did not produce a winner yesterday. jaXon likes Golden State and Houston under the 217. You could wait. If those guys end up playing for Golden State, you get a much better number because the total will go up with the confirmation that Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, Steph Curry are all going to play. So that's what I would probably wait if you like the under and you want to ride with jaXon. Went through Outlier, used that as well. All these links are in the description of the video. Same thing for Moneyballer as well. Best of luck on whatever it is that you're betting. Best of luck if you're betting the All-Star stuff. I'm not. I will be taking a nice little break. If anything, I may come on and do a recap show where I kind of go through my numbers for so far throughout the season, kind of give updates on that. And I'm probably not doing anything outside of that though. Probably not making any content, or I'm just trying to win. So probably not doing anything outside of that. So I will see you guys. I think the next game is next Wednesday. The Lakers got the makeup game against the Lakers got the makeup game on Wednesday. The rest of everybody else plays on Thursday, right? Yeah, so the Lakers got the makeup game, I think. Let's see. Am I right? I think the Lakers got the makeup game on Wednesday, or the Lakers got the makeup game on Thursday. Lakers got the makeup game one of these days. I don't know when they got it, but the Lakers got a makeup game next week. I can see real quick. Hold on. Lakers got the makeup game Wednesday. That's when it is. So they play the Hornets on Wednesday, and then we got about 8 or 9 games on Thursday. So we'll be back on Wednesday for Hornets and Lakers. Until then, Y'all be safe. Enjoy yourselves, man. And I'll catch you in the Discord if we betting on anything else. But probably gonna take a nice little break, man. I'm super excited for the break. So best of luck on your action for today, man. I'll catch you guys all in the next one. We'll be live with Cal, and outside of that, I'm done for a little while, man. Need the break. Best of luck on your action. I'm out.